I did it to myself. I talked. Man, I'm so out of it. I'm so out of it, man. I talked while I was muted. Now I just look like an idiot. All right, here we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Mike Guido. Welcome into the 8 o'clock spot, episode number 55. It is great to have you here with us, and we have three fantastic panelists to join us tonight. Our first being a GRYD contributor, Paris Brown. Paris, how you feeling, my friend?
I'm doing all right, man. I mean, NFL's about to be over, so I've just been watching the Pacers. We about to be in fourth place, so I'm feeling good about the Pacers. We had a rough beginning, but we're here now.
Hey, listen, you're nothing against my Cavs in the Central Division. Let's just make
one
thing very, very clear.
We already
did whoop us that one. You did whoop us one game.
And we already beat the Celtics in the season series. So, shoot, I'm not scared of anybody.
Nah, hey, listen, you shouldn't be. They're definitely a force to be reckoned with in the Eastern Conference. All right, moving on to the guy who seemingly is dominating this season. By the way, coming in with an orange tank top. How unprofessional of him. No, I'm just giving him crap. Arthur Hurst. Arthur, how you doing, my friend? How's the weather up there at the top of the leaderboard?
It's going good, man. We plan to keep it nice and cool up here, you know what I'm saying? And just me.
All right, there we go. See, perfect. All right, we get minus points for Arthur for the ding. But listen, man, some things you just can't help. Unless it was that Paris's phone or was that Arthur's phone? No, it was Paris's phone. It was Arthur's phone. All right, and then joining us again as our third panelist, again a very special guest, Erik Ruiz. Erik, thanks for coming on, man. It's been a while since I've seen you, but how you feeling, bud?
Doing all right, man. Very happy that the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. Been telling all the haters and doubters all season that this is our year, and here we are.
Well, listen, I think you have a certain running back that you might have to thank for that, for the Eagles being in the Super Bowl. But all right, so we've introduced you to our three panelists. Let's talk to you about if this is the first time that you've ever tuned into this show, let's figure out how these rules work. Okay, so for the rules, and this is for every round, we have 4 rounds tonight before we have the final round. Best take gets 5 points. Second best take gets 3. Third best gets 1. So since we have 3 panelists tonight, everybody takes home points at the end of the round. See, we're very democratic here at the GRYD. So everybody takes home points. Let's take a look at the leaderboard right here. Arthur Hurst is just dominating at the top with, oh, by the way, that's me at the at number 2 right there. Man, second place once again in the 8 o'clock spot leaderboard. It kills me. Paris Brown, they're in that third place spot. And then there's, it looks like it, honestly, some big time separation. Tim Barnard, Barry Grant Jr., Tyler Reddington, and then Bryson Carver scored, I think, 24 points in his only shot at being a contestant on this show. You're welcome, Bryson, because I'm pretty sure I hosted that. Alfred Parcher Jr., our new stand-in host, here at number 8, Asher Moore at 9, Eric Van Lenten at number 10, EJ Savage at number 11, and Erik Ruiz, who I can confidently say will elevate himself from the number 12 spot after tonight's showing. So let's discuss our first topic of the evening. So what we saw this past weekend, the Buffalo Bills took I would consider heartbreaking loss to the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City, 32-29. And there were some controversial calls. Obviously, the one leading to the Xavier Worthy crazy catch where he caught that ball over Cole Bishop. That was obviously up for debate. That ruled in favor of Kansas City. Josh Allen not getting apparently not getting the first down later in the game, where it seemingly looked like it could have been, but it could have gone either way. That went in favor of Kansas City. But nonetheless, Kansas City now goes to their 3rd straight Super Bowl. It almost just seems inevitable at this point. So, Paris, let's start with you. Okay, the Kansas City Chiefs are in the Super Bowl again. My Buffalo, I'm a Cowboy fan, but I love the Buffalo Bills. My Buffalo Bills fall short once again. Listen, do you think, given all of the controversy and maybe some of the could have gone either way-ness of both calls, right, or of this game, do you think that the Buffalo Bills got robbed in the AFC Championship game?
Did they get robbed? No. I will not. Unless it's very obvious, I will never say a team got robbed in a game. Were there plays that could have gone different ways? Yes. The Xavier Worthy, to me, that was a catch. You can call it either way. I do believe that was a catch on its own. The Josh Allen forward, that was a first down. That's 100% a first down. I think everybody knows it was a first down. Somehow it's not. But at the end, when you get the ball down 3 points and you got 3 minutes to go score, this is what separates a Hall of Fame great quarterback to an all-star quarterback. You got to go down. You got to go score. You got to go win the game. It's the difference between in the championship. It's the difference between being in the Super Bowl. That was their chance for Josh Allen to go out and beat Mahomes. And once again, Steve Spagnuolo, with his defense, just outplayed the Bills. And from the beginning, Josh Allen seemed to really just be trying to do way too much. That first drive of the game, he was trying to give the ball to Kansas City. I mean, back-to-back throws straight to the defense, basically. He's lucky neither one got intercepted. So, honestly, it seemed like he went into that game nervous on his own, thinking he has to be God to beat Patrick Mahomes, which is like, kind of, but you have to play your game. It's all about playing your game and being the better QB. He was trying way too much in the beginning. And then at the end, I mean, with 3 minutes left, that's your chance to go beat him. Put Mahomes in that situation, Mahomes is going down and scoring a touchdown. No matter what you say, if you put him in there, he's scoring a touchdown. Josh Allen gets a chance, and he didn't even need a touchdown. All he needed was 3 points to go into overtime, and he would have got the ball no matter what, because the overtime rules are different in the playoffs. Couldn't even move the ball down the field. So, were they robbed? No. Could calls go in different ways? Absolutely. But with any game, any Kansas City Chiefs game, obviously, but almost any playoff game, there's going to be plays that don't go your way. There's going to be calls that don't go your way. If you're going off of that to win a game, you're not going to win a game.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, right? I've always been one to say, I mean, I'm a defender of officials in every sport, I think, more than anybody. But, I mean, I agree with you in the sense of, like, if you need the call to go your way, you didn't execute well enough, right? So, Arthur, let's pivot over to you here. So again, there were controversial calls in this game. Obviously, like we said, Xavier Worthy with the catch over Cole Bishop, right? The first down that Josh Allen didn't get later in the game. I mean, do you think the Buffalo Bills this time around were robbed at a chance at the Super Bowl in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs?
This is a hard one for me because I never want to say rob. It's interesting how some things always works out for one, right? It's just very, very interesting that in moments, the moments always seem to happen for the Kansas City Chiefs. Forget the Josh Allen missed call or the no call of the first down for Josh Allen. I thought Dalton Kincaid got the first down. I went back and looked at that some more. I thought that was a clear-cut first down, but they called him short. Josh Allen, any other time, I feel like that would be called a first down. Even Gene's territory, he said he feel like he got a third of the ball over the line. That was a first down. Now, Chris Jones, hey, man, again, somehow, some way is in front of the camera, which is in front of he's standing literally between the ball and camera. And what would have been the perfect angle to see, you can't see it. So somehow, some way, that happens as well. The Xavier Worthy catch, I literally rewinded that back so many times, and I get the new rules. I get it, but it goes back to the thing that I don't know what a catch is because the football I'm used to, that hits the ground, that's an incomplete pass. Somebody, people said he had possession of it. He had his hand on top of it. Sure, but it's clearly going to the ground, and then he pulls it in. Whatever. But it's back to Paris. What Paris said, if that's what you're trying to bank on to win games, again, he talks about all Hall of Fame quarterback versus all-star quarterback. How about the game planning from the defense? Everybody knows that Spags wants to bring a blitz on third down and on fourth down. That was the perfect situation right there. You have the corner blitz. And you look at the play, it's like, wait, there's a lot more people there at the line. What's going on? And then you see him come off that line so quick. And it's like, oh no, that's Spags defense football for you. That was a perfectly timed blitz. The fact that Josh Allen was even able to try to get something off is amazing. And then you can't make the catch. It is what it is. Were they robbed? No, but it is all about moments. And it's just funny how those moments always seem to go the Kansas City Chiefs way. Again, Bills were not robbed, but it is just funny and interesting to watch.
You're right. It does seem like, the greats of that sense certainly do find ways to have those moments, like you said, kind of just go in their favor. And it just seems to be, listen, that's why I titled the show Inevitable, because that's kind of how it felt. But by the way, just a little tidbit here, the 32 points that the Kansas City Chiefs scored in the AFC Championship game, that was their season high. They had not scored over 30 points in any game this season since until the AFC Championship game. And I believe the three other teams in the NFL that had not scored 30 or more points in a game were the Raiders, the Patriots, and the Giants. And we all know where they are, right? It is an unbelievable thing when you really think about it. Okay, let's go to you, Erik. So, again, there was some controversy in this game, right, as far as calls, as there are in very many playoff games. But this one seems to be a little bit more at the forefront. Do you think the Buffalo Bills got robbed at a chance of the Super Bowl for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Buffalo robbed themselves. Going for it twice on two, and it failed, took themselves out of the game by doing that. And even though they had more yards than KC, 5 for 14 on third downs is not going to win you the game. They had to change their strategy from previous years and be more aggressive, but it failed. As far as these questionable calls, the way to beat the Chiefs, you got to blow these guys out. You got to get quick on the scoring board. Buffalo did not. First thing they did was a field goal. You got to get touchdowns in order to compete with the Chiefs. And not being efficient on third down definitely took them out of the game. You can't have a close game against the Chiefs and expect to win. They're the reigning champs, so they're going to get these calls here and there. I know it's been very controversial, but, you got to expect that. Jordan got the calls. All the great teams have had leniency with the refs and everything like that. So you're not playing against the refs. You're playing against the team, and not scoring and not being efficient is not going to win you the game.
I like the point that you bring up about efficiency. And again, that's what a lot of people have said in this past week as well, is that the Bills simply, listen, did they play a poor game? No, they didn't play a poor game. The Chiefs are a very good football team, but the Bills did not execute at the level that I'm sure they would even tell you that they wanted to as well. Erik Ruiz, I'm giving you the 5 points this round, my friend. I thought he came out firing. Paris Brown with the 3, Arthur Hurst with the 1. We obviously know that's not going to stay the same, but so far he starts out with 1 point. Let's humble the man a little bit. Jesus. All right. Let's go to the comments here. Bryson Carver. Look at our guy. I love this panel. Don't blame someone else for your own shortcomings. I can't tell if that's a shot at me or if I can't tell. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just going to leave that there. Anyway, let's go to topic number 2. So, the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely slaughtered the Washington Commanders 55-23 in the NFC Championship game. Now, again, most people were surprised to see the Commanders in said game after taking down the Lions the previous week. But listen, it was a way that they earned themselves into the game. Saquon Barkley obviously had a monster game, as he has been all season. 118 yards on the ground. He had 3 rushing touchdowns. It was just an absolute masterclass by the Eagles. So, Arthur, let's swing it over to you. Okay, so a big blowout win by the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. They're headed over to the Super Bowl. I'll just leave it out there for you like this. What did you make of it? Are the Eagles better than we expected? Should the Commanders not even have been there? What was your main takeaway from this NFC Championship game?
Jalen Hurts, and I don't even want to say that right now because hopefully I plan to be in the final round. Jalen Hurts is not even going to be. He's the X factor for this team. We know what Saquon Barkley brings to the table. He's 1A, 1B, 1C. Whenever Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, and Saquon Barkley are all playing in the NFL season, there is no 1, 2, and 3. It's 1A, 1B, 1C for me. We know that A.J. Brown is a wide receiver 1. We know that Devontae Smith is a bona fide wide receiver 2. We know that both of those guys can make plays. Dallas Goedert, very good tight end. He may not be a Travis Kelce or some of these other guys, but he definitely is reliable. Jalen Hurts is the X factor. Why? Because we love the tush push. We love to throw for at least 150 yards and let Saquon Barkley just carry this team. Jalen Hurts going 20 for 28 for 248 yards, averaging 8.5 per throw, no interceptions. That's what they need if they're going to win this thing. I need you to go be a quarterback. Saquon Barkley is talented, but they are going to do everything they can with Chris Jones up front to make sure that they can contain him. I need A.J. Brown to go have a big day. I need Devontae Smith to go have big days. It's going to be on them three. And it's going to be on Jalen Hurst to get the ball down the field. It's going to be up to Jalen Hurst to make sure he can clock those defenses. Again, the Chiefs are going to blitz you on third down. And if you're going to go for it on fourth, which we know they will because the Eagles like to be cute, killing more, I don't need the cute stuff in this game. I need you to play a clean game. I need you in that offense to go and just make the plays you need to make. Do not shoot yourselves in the foot. Erik said it in the first category. You need to blow this Chiefs team out early. That's how it always is with them. You got to get them early. You got to put your foot down, clock them in the mouth because they can easily come back and do it right to you. Jalen Hurts, I need you to go out and ball. You go out and ball and do what you need to do. Keep the ball away from them. Throw for more than 200 or something yards. Oh, this Eagles team always been dangerous. But their quarterback is going to be their X factor. Their quarterback is their X factor. It depends on him if they win the Super Bowl or not. Saquon's going to give you what he gives you. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. We haven't even talked about the Eagles defense because I'm not really worried about them. I think the defense will be fine. I'm more worried about Jalen Hurts back there in the backfield and seeing if he can do what he needs to do to put this team on his back to win the game. Because Patrick Mahomes, we know what he can do. He's done it. I need to see if Jalen Hurts can do it.
I think that's more than fair, right? I mean, I've been saying it ever since Jalen Hurts came out of college, right? I was never a huge believer in Jalen Hurts as a thrower of the football, especially given his time in Alabama. I mean, it really seemed like Nick Saban was game planning so Jalen Hurts didn't have to throw the football, so depending on how you look at that, but I agree. I think efficiency, his playmaking ability out of the backfield, being an actual quarterback rather than just a dynamic playmaker, I think is going to be key to that as well. So that's a good point there by Arthur. Let's go over to Erik Ruiz. So again, big blowout win. Listen, before the show, you said you were ecstatic. You loved it, right? You were loving the fact that the Eagles were in the Super Bowl. But listen, man, what was your takeaway from this NFC Championship game? Like I said, was Washington not even supposed to be there? Are the Eagles better than what we've give them credit for all season? What was your takeaway, Erik?
Oh, absolutely. The Eagles are far better than everybody has given them credit for. It seems like all season that the media has wanted these guys to fail for whatever reason. I do not want to discredit Washington, though, because they were the hottest team at one point in the playoffs. They pretty much were damn near handing them the Super Bowl. But both matchups that the Eagles have played the Commanders, the Eagles have definitely outclassed and outplayed them, even though the second time we played them, we lost because they knocked Jalen Hurts out of the first quarter, and having Kenny Pickett in, he kept us in the game, but really was our defense. I have to say that the first 8 minutes of the Eagles and Commanders playoff game pretty much showed me why the Eagles, for me, are the favorite in this whole thing. The discipline. They had a 7-minute drive against them and held these guys to 3 points. They gave up numerous fourth downs, but they stayed disciplined. And they learned that from the last game, because when they threw out C.J. Gardner-Johnson for getting hit by another player, I'm sure they went back to the locker room and had a whole chat on how to be disciplined, and again, not playing against the refs, but playing against the Commanders. The first couple of touchdowns, these guys barely even celebrated. There was barely any dancing or anything of that nature. They wanted to win this game and show that they were disciplined, and they weren't going to let the refs or anybody take them out of this game. And again, with the Eagles having the number one defense, it definitely helped them out. There is Brandon Graham, who's injured, but they have reserves that have filled in perfectly for this team. I was very impressed by the depth of the Eagles, and the game was way closer than what the score had showed. Though the score had showed a blowout, but Washington was coming down the field every possession, and they had a couple of fumbles which shifted the momentum the Eagles' way. And what helped them out a lot is that they capitalized on those turnovers and scored touchdowns, not just field goals, but scored touchdowns. And that's what pretty much made the game out of reach towards the end of the game was the turnovers and staying disciplined and not getting barely any penalties this game. They played a damn near perfect game. And that's what they need to continue to do if they want to win.
Yeah. No, it's a good point by you. It's definitely a good point by you. All right, Paris Brown. Listen, man, big blowout win for the Eagles, right? I mean, and these two guys have touched on it, right? Like this is a roster. I mean, both of these guys really kind of touched on it. This is a roster that's pretty stacked, right? We look at this roster, and especially now with Saquon Barkley in the backfield. I mean, this is a team that can beat you in multiple ways. Paris, what was your big takeaway?
I mean, did I expect a blowout? No, but the outcome could be expected. The Commanders is the third worst rushing defense in the league, facing a great rushing team that has a MVP running back. What do you think is going to happen against that? They're going to run all over that. I mean, they did it the first game. He ran for 150. He did the second game. He ran for 150. In this game, he didn't run for 150, but they had 7 rushing touchdowns. That just goes to show they have no rushing defense at all. That was the weakness all season. And they face a team that will run the ball the entire game without, as I say, Jalen Hurts did his thing too. He passed the ball. They made the Commanders have to respect the pass. But when you have no rushing defense and they have the best running back in the league this year, I mean, they could have they didn't even need Jalen Hurts. They could have just handed him the ball. He would have beat the team by himself. I mean, Saquon Barkley could not be stopped. And goes to show this Philadelphia Eagles team is a very experienced team. For the past 4 years, they've been in the playoffs, and 2 out of the 4 years now they've been to the Super Bowl. This Commanders team hasn't seen this. The Commanders haven't been to the championship in 1994. Half the players on that team weren't even alive the last time they made it to a championship game. So these players have never been in a situation. Most of these players are going 3-14 these seasons. They're already home by now. So none of those players really knew how to play in that situation. The only person really is Bobby Wagner. He's been there. But I mean, McLaurin, this is Daniel's first year. All the young wide receivers, you could tell they were all trying to do too much also. A lot of the fumbles were them trying to break up big plays. I mean, the wide receiver caught it, tried to break 3 tackles, got the ball punched out of his hand. Eckler caught it, fell down, tried to get up, got the ball punched out of his hand. All these players trying to do way too much in a situation they've never been in versus a team that has been here multiple times, knows how to win in this situation, knows what it takes to win. This coach knows what it takes to win. It was a young team facing a team that's been here before and a team with the third worst rushing defense versus a team that has an MVP running back. That's just a mismatch. That's like the one team you don't want to see. They obviously were going to, but they have all the strengths that the Commanders have weaknesses. It was kind of bound for this to happen.
Yeah. Not only were the Eagles running the ball all over the place against the Commanders couldn't run the football against them. So It was a complete mismatch as far as that's concerned. So I don't know the last time that this happened, by the way, but Arthur Hurst, you got the most points. Paris Brown got the second most points. Erik Ruiz got the third most points. We are deadlocked at 6 points apiece heading into round number 3. See, do you get this with the old host? No, you don't ever get this with the old host. By the way, Bryson Carver says, when I asked if it was a shot at me, he said, not at all, my friend. Mike is a great host. Andre Brown in the comment section saying Saquon is a major difference maker, and Washington became very undisciplined. A lot, and that goes back to, I think what you said a lot, Paris, especially, was it just felt like they were trying to do too much. They became undisciplined. They were playing sloppy football. And that's exactly what we saw. Those are the things that that resulted in Philadelphia ending up going to the Super Bowl. Okay, let's bring it over to the third round. So head coaching, right? We all see now that all these different head coaches are being hired for these franchises. There's only one job remaining, the New Orleans Saints, which, by the way, for Eagles fans, apparently Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator of the Eagles, is the favorite to land that job. But as of now, we've had these coaches being hired. Pete Carroll hired by the Raiders. Brian Schottenheimer hired to the Cowboys. Mike Vrabel to the Patriots. Aaron Glenn to the Jets. Ben Johnson to the Bears. We've had some matches made. So let's ask our panel. Let's start with you, Erik. Of these new head coaching hires in the NFL, Which one do you think makes the most sense? Which one is the best hire so far?
I believe it's Mike Vrabel. He's pretty much been the most successful other than Pete Carroll. And especially when he was let go by Tennessee, it was a big shock. And he fits right in to the Patriot way. He was right there playing linebacker for them. So it's an easy fit. And he's a great football mind. And like I said, he's had success with Tennessee. He got a long way to go with New England and that staff there. I believe it starts with the draft, and it'll be interesting to see who they get. But he's pretty much, I feel like, the best coach out of all of them who's been hired, because Ben Johnson really doesn't have much head coaching experience. You know, he did great with Detroit and everything. Pete Carroll's had a year off, and the man's also 70 years old too. You know, we don't know how much he has left as far as coaching goes, but I feel like Mike Vrabel will be like the cream of the crop of this class of the coaching hires.
Yeah, it certainly Mike Vrabel, when he went to the Patriots, I think most people just saw that and it was just like, you know what, that's a good fit, right? It makes sense. Former player, like Erik said, it was a big shock when Tennessee fired him a couple of years ago. It was like, what kind of direction are they going in? It does kind of have the feel of that could be their coach for a long time. Let's go over to you, Paris. So of all these coaching hires, right, Liam Cohen, who got hired by the Jaguars as well, was one of the names I forgot to mention. But what are these hires? Which of these hires right now do you see? What gives you the best feeling? What's the best fit right now?
For me, it's by far the definitely best fit is Ben Johnson. Honestly, wherever he went, I think I would have liked. But for the fact that he went to the Bears, a team that all they need is an offensive team, and that team is set. I mean, that the Bears, almost no matter what, they have a good defense. Their defense is always performing, but it's always their offense not doing anything, turning the ball over, getting sacked. They always have struggles on the offense no matter what. And they're bringing a guy over who knows how to coach an offense. I mean, when he went to the Lions, the year before Ben Johnson became the coordinator of the Lions, they went 3-13. He became the coordinator. They immediately were 9-8, 12-5, 15-2. Obviously, that's not all him. Dan Campbell's been a great head coach too. But that offense has been completely different since he went over there. Now, we've seen coordinators fail as head coaches, so you can't say it's going to work. It's definitely going to work. But for a team that really needs an offensive mind, there really wasn't a better offensive mind to bring in than Ben Johnson. And really, this Bears team is all set on can Caleb Williams develop. That's what the team is banking on now, because everybody's going to talk about their line. The line isn't the best, but it's not the worst. Caleb Williams holds the ball on way too long. He wants to make every play a 50-yard play. Ben Johnson's going to get rid of that. So it all bets on Caleb Williams developing. I couldn't see a better coordinator or coach coming into that situation than Ben Johnson.
Yeah, Ben Johnson seemingly was the guy, right? I mean, most people were interested in Ben Johnson. They wanted him in the building. Obviously, we heard the reports of the Raiders and how he could have taken that job. I always felt like, and this was before even the hiring even happened, I always felt like Ben Johnson and the Bears was a good fit, right? Could put a really solid young offensive coach with Caleb Williams and see if that works. And again, there's really no excuses for Caleb Williams now, right? Give him a couple more years. And if he doesn't produce, then, we kind of have our answer here. Let's go to Arthur Hurst. All right. So listen, man, the Saints are the only team right now without a head coach, but everybody else has, right? We've got 6 new head coaching hires. Which one do you think is the best?
Love Mike Vrabel to the Patriots. Love Aaron Glenn to the Jets. I even like Ben Johnson to the Bears. My only problem, and it's always going to be that until they actually fix it, the Bears had the 24th ranked offensive line in the NFL. Now, part of that is injuries, so you can't be consistent with them. Part of that is also Caleb Williams' just really great dynamic athletic ability to be able to move out the pocket and extend plays, but that also hurt them. As Paris said, Ben Johnson coming in there and cleaning that up, that's going to do wonders for them. Now, hopefully they can still stay healthy, and we'll really see what that offensive line is made of. But I'd really like Pete Carroll to the Raiders, man. I love the fact that Tom Brady was the one that was leading the questions in the interviews, because that's the GOAT right there. So, of course, with him being the minority owner as well of the Raiders, he's going to want to make sure that whoever is the next person that the team follows is legit. He respects the hell out of them as well. And I get Erik saying that, he's 70-something years old, but you hear the talk of him. He has that 30-year-old man energy. He's just one of those older guys who He bleeds football. He loves football. And when their biggest thing that they need is a quarterback. They got the defense. I even think they got the offense. And when you look at where they are right now in the draft board, they are number 6. The Titans, we'll see if they go another year with Will Levis. Cleveland needs a quarterback. Giants need a quarterback. Patriots, they have a quarterback. Jaguars, they paid their quarterback, so they're stuck with him. And then you got the Raiders. Think about who they can possibly get. Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Milroe, Will Howard. And you got Jackson Dart also out of Ole Miss. Now, if somehow Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders lands with Las Vegas, wait a second. Pete Carroll, Tom Brady. First off, Tom Brady is already cool with Shedeur, also through Dion, so they already have a relationship. If he somehow some way gets one of them quarterbacks with Pete Carroll, I think they're fine. Now, they need to give him time, of course, and I believe that's what he will absolutely get. He's going to get the time to be able to develop with whoever he gets at the quarterback position and really get this team to work. So I'm going to have to go with Pete Carroll and the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, I think Pete Carroll is and to be honest, it kind of came out of nowhere, right? I don't want to, I shouldn't say that. It didn't come out of nowhere, but Pete Carroll, I don't think was a name that was really flying off the handle once the whole process started. This was kind of a name that kind of fell in, almost slipped through the cracks, and then almost happened at the last minute. You talked about there were rumors about him possibly going to the Cowboys. Raiders swooped in and made that hire. I think it's a pretty stable hire, if you ask me, Pete Carroll. So I love that. Arthur Hurst, I'll give you the 5 points. You're at 11. Parrish, you get the 3. You're at 9. Eric, you are at 7. It is still anybody's game at this point in time. As we head into our final round with all 3 panelists, so let's move to this. By the way, I noticed that not a single one of you said that Brian Schottenheimer was the best head coaching hire. Now, I get it, which is why our next topic is this. The Dallas Cowboys hired Brian Schottenheimer, their former offensive coordinator, simply elevating him into the head coaching role after firing Mike McCarthy this past offseason. So this was met with an unbelievable amount of scrutiny, right? Brian Schottenheimer, he's a career assistant, shouldn't be a head coach, right? The search was a circus, right? Obviously, the whole process of Mike McCarthy's contract expiring and then them trying to renegotiate and all of that, that was all a circus, right? So let me start with you, Paris, as it wheels back around to you for our 4th round. Are the Dallas Cowboys today the league's biggest laughingstock after hiring Brian Schottenheimer?
So it's one of those. It's like you want to say they are, but if I have to be 100% honest, they aren't yet because they're still the Cleveland Browns. I don't know anybody who would want to coach the Cleveland Browns, who want to be a Cleveland Brown fan. The Cleveland Browns the jerseys are ugly. Everything about the Cleveland Browns is just ugly to me. I just don't like a single thing. And they got Deshaun Watson talking about they want to bring him back and mess with his contract. How does that make any sense? I would just eat the money and just let him go. Like, I don't care how much we're paying him. Just eat it and let him go. But the Cowboys, the Cowboys are the most fun team to make fun of. No matter how bad any other team in the league is, the team could go 0-16. The Cowboys are still the most fun team to make fun of. As long as they have Jerry Jones, you can make fun of them. Even if they win a Super Bowl, you can make fun of them. But this is not the last time we're going to see an offensive coordinator move to a head coach. We're going to see that happen year in, year out. Last year, I feel bad for the Cowboys more so because of how many injuries they had. I mean, the QB was down. They had no running back going into the season, so I don't know what they thought they were going to do at running game. And they kind of figured it out somehow. With Rico Dowdle, they figured it out at the end of the season. He can run the ball. He did something, though. He did better than Tony Pollard did, okay? And the defense looked better once Micah Parsons got on the field, but Micah Parsons was injured. DeMarcus Lawrence was injured. The amount of injuries the Cowboys went through last year, we all talk about the 49ers dealing with it, but the Cowboys dealt with it a lot, too. It was injury after injury. So their season was already shot in the foot. You know Jerry Jones can't make good decisions. No matter what, you could give him the answer. He's going to make a bad decision, no matter what. And trying to negotiate with Mike McCarthy put him behind the 8 ball trying to hire a coach. So he kind of had no choice. He kind of had to bring that guy up because who else are they going to bring in? Nobody. They wanted Dion, but honestly, Dion might have just told him no. So we don't know about that. So are they the laughing stock? No. I think the Browns are still a laughing stock, but the Cowboys from my whole life, and maybe from my whole life on, will still be the most fun team to make fun of forever.
Listen, you're not alone, right? You're not alone. You've never been alone in making fun of the Cowboys. Even I made fun of the Cowboys. As a Cowboy fan, I made fun of the Cowboys this year. Every time Dak threw an interception or else they made some stupid play, even I was poking fun of them. Losers. I was doing it.
It's just fun.
Okay, so let's move on. Oh, dear God. Here we go. Arthur Jones here, Cowboy. Oh, boy. Arthur Hurst. After the Cowboys hired Brian Schottenheimer as their head coach, does mean mugging Arthur Hurst think the Dallas Cowboys are the laughing stock of the NFL?
Boy, now listen, I'm tired of all this Cowboys talk, okay? I'm really, really sick of it, okay? Look, Jerry Jones, I love Jerry Rowe to death, man. Look, we tried to get Deion Sanders, okay, that didn't work. He ended up staying in Colorado. Look, this Brian Schottenheimer dude, listen, man, this is the biggest risk anybody could have taken. No head coach experience, Mike. None of it, man. Assistant coach. That's all they know, man. It's Brian Schottenheimer, the assistant coach, man. Listen, y'all going to leave Jerry World alone, okay? He took the biggest risk out of anybody and made Brian Schottenheimer a goddamn head coach. All right, so it's respect to you, Jerry World. Respect to you. But look, Mike, listen. In all seriousness, ain't nobody a bigger laughing stock than the New York Giants, bro. Look, how many times I've gone back to watch that Hard Knocks episode where you got owner and general manager literally going back and forth over Saquon Barkley, who again is either 1A, 1B, or 1C running back in the NFL. And what does the owner say? Man, look, if we lose him to Philly, what is the general manager? He laughed at it. Ha! Philly? Ha! And where's Philly right now? Super Bowl, going against the Chiefs. In the NFC champions, right? MVP conversation. Where's New York? Oh, let go of Daniel Jones. Let him walk. the Italian boy, he couldn't get it done. Now listen, look, Drew Lock and Malik Neighbors somehow, some way became a one heck of a duo at the end of the season. I get it. Proud of y'all. But the man who is literally carrying y'all's franchise when he got there is in the Super Bowl. And y'all at home, y'all finna watch him. Somebody finna be mad. Hell, somebody should be fired. Somebody should have been fired when the Eagles got to the playoffs, then when they demolished the Commanders, and now that they're in the Super Bowl. And if they lose, somebody's going to get fired. Or should. Probably not going to happen, but somebody definitely should get fired. So now, man, this is definitely the New York Giants.
Well, listen, you got to give Arthur credit for showmanship, right? I mean, the glasses and the hat. I can appreciate that. The Giants are definitely, I mean, you know, that they've had it rough for at least the past couple of years. Yeah, and the Saquon thing is bad. Let's not sugarcoat that. All right, Erik Ruiz. Listen, man, Brian Schottenheimer, I think that's almost as bad as it gets when it comes to head coaching hires. And this just comes on to, it piles on top to a bunch of other crap that you can point to. But as of right now, do you believe that on top of this head coaching hire, do you believe the Dallas Cowboys are the current biggest laughing stock in the NFL?
I think the current biggest laughing stock might be the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Cowboys, though they haven't made it as far as everybody may have wanted them or predicted them, they're most of the time in the hunt. And Brian Schottenheimer, it may not be a bad hire. He's proven as an offensive coordinator with Seattle. He's done great things there in the later years with Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf and everything. He does have the ability to create a good offense there, which they already do have. They just need to fill a couple holes with running back and wide receiver too. But there's always the draft and free agency for that. He did bring Chad. On the Jets in 2006. It was Chad Pennington. Yeah, he had him get comeback player of the year. So you never know. He could probably do that with Dak and everything. Their offense is notoriously been pretty good with CeeDee Lamb and everything. But As far as like biggest laughing stock, it's just a given that like they're not going to go as far as everybody makes them. You could blame the media for that, for overhyping them every year, but they do contend. But as far as laughing stock, I think Jacksonville, man, with the owner and everything, and Shad Khan and all getting sued by his own employees and all types of stuff going on there. Yeah, I think that's the organization I probably would stay away from.
See, I think that's fair, right? Because the Jaguars have had a ton of trouble. They have a generational talent at quarterback and seemingly can't get it right. They seemingly can't get it right. And don't shake your head like that, Arthur. The guy's a generational talent. Let's not pretend here. All right. So I'd like to congratulate Arthur Hurst on making it to the final round. But we have an issue here. So, Arthur, congratulations. Paris Brown and Erik Ruiz right now are deadlocked at 10 points to get into the final round. This might be the closest 8 o'clock spot that we've ever had to date. So, in the event that this happens, there is a trivia question, right? And it's on brand, really. So, obviously, here's how this is going to work, okay? Paris and Erik, just so that you don't step over each other, right? There will be an imaginary buzzer. And all you have to do is raise your hand like this. Okay? So, then I will call on you first. Once you get the answer wrong, it is fair game, free roll, just fire away. Okay? Okay, so the trivia question is, the Dallas Cowboys have the longest drought of making it to an NFC Championship game. They have not been to one since 1995. Who has the second longest NFC Championship drought? Erik Ruiz is first on the board. What do we have, sir? And he is still muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. So if it's the Cowboys that are first, I gotta go with the Commanders.
Well, no, the Commanders made it this year.
Yeah, before them. Not the Commanders.
And no cheating.
Oh no, I'm in my car. I don't have any sources of
Paris, you can butt in. He already has a wrong answer.
Is it the Bears?
It is the Chicago Bears. Paris, since 2010, they have not been to an NFC Championship game. The Chicago Bears have the second longest drought. So that puts Paris Brown ahead of Erik Ruiz. But I will say this, a heck of a showing from Erik Ruiz today. He no longer sits in last place on our leaderboard. He's now comfortably up there in the middle of the pack. Erik, thanks again for joining us, man. It's always a pleasure. Really great showing tonight, bud. Thanks.
Fly, Eagles fly.
His boys are going to the Super Bowl. So now our final round. We now have Arthur Hurst, who seems to be the perennial Goliath in this game, and Paris Brown, who is sitting in third place, but is looking for his first win of the 8 o'clock spot since the season started. So this one's going to be simple, guys. Okay. For those of you that don't understand the final rules, okay, the best take gets 10 points. The loser of this round gets nothing. 0. Winner take all, 10 points. Here we go. Super Bowl 59. Okay. It is between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Eagles coming home with a massive win over the Commanders and a really close win for the Chiefs over the Buffalo Bills in their respective conference championship games. This is where we are. Chiefs, Eagles. Now that we have the matchup set, Paris Brown, who takes home the Lombardi Trophy?
As much as I don't want to say it, it's going to be the Chiefs. As much as I don't want the Chiefs to win it, the fact that they're here now, and as you said, it's inevitable, they're going to win it. It's who they are. They don't lose. They don't lose in the regular season. They lost once in the regular season. They can say twice. They lost once. They even tried that last game. So they lost once in the regular season. They beat everybody in the playoffs. Everybody's going to blame the refs and say the refs are going to let them win. But we know what happens. The Chiefs, they keep it close. They might be losing, but they keep it close. And Mahomes gets the ball at the end of the game, and they score. Now, the Eagles have Saquon. They do have Saquon. But he's not going to do them like he just did the Commanders. The Chiefs' defense is way better than the Commanders' defense, especially on the run. Do I expect Saquon to go for 100? Most definitely. Nobody can hold him under that. He's probably going to get a touchdown? Most definitely. But he's not going to dominate this game. The Chiefs are going to put up points. The Eagles have a better defense this year than they had last time, which can keep it close. But I really think it's just going to come down to it's going to be a close game. And what we see with every close game with the Chiefs, you let Mahomes get the ball, even if there's just 13 seconds on the clock, he comes down, he scores, and he wins the game. I mean, they have Mahomes, they have Andy Reid, who's a better coach. I just see it happening. It could be a close game, but Mahomes is going to get one last chance, and you give him a chance, he wins. That he could have negative yards at the end of the game. You give him a chance, he'll go down 99 yards to score a touchdown. It's what he does.
Drives me crazy, right? It's the perfect, that little synopsis right there is the perfect way to describe how everybody in America feels about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs right now. So, Arthur Hurst, the Chiefs and the Eagles, listen, like Paris said, it seems inevitable, right? At least it is for me. I mean, that's my pick. I'm picking the Chiefs. But who do you got? Super Bowl 59, the Kansas City Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles?
So, when both of these teams met, a couple years ago in 2023 for the Super Bowl, the Chiefs won 38-35. The Eagles were up 24-14 at halftime, and then the Chiefs just started rolling. But listen to these performances, right? Patrick Mahomes, 182 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts had 374 total yards, 304 passing, 70 rushing, 4 total touchdowns. Now, this Eagles defense, I don't think is up to the caliber of that defense, but I also don't think this Chiefs offense is up to the caliber where that offense is at. Eagles can definitely win this game, and I believe the Eagles will win this game. But as I said earlier, Jalen Hurts is the X factor. I'm going to need you to do what you did in that last Super Bowl. I'm going to need you to throw the air out the football. I need A.J. Brown to come down with 100-plus yards. I'm going to need Devontae Smith to be damn near close to 100, if not over 100. Saquon Barkley, more than likely, he's going to – Paris said he's not going to get held to 100, but I think there's a chance that Chris Jones and them will be able to get to that backfield and make things difficult for him. I'm not worried about Saquon Barkley. I'm worried about number one. There is no Jason Kelce. So if y'all going to do a tush push, y'all better make sure that tush push works. You better make sure you actually make it convincing. You went over the first down marker, because if Chris Jones stands between the camera and the football again, that's the motherfucking game right there. So I believe it's going to be the Eagles. They have the offense. They do have the defense. Jalen Carter has been a monster. Darius Slay Jr. I mean, come on now. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is playing extremely well. I believe they have everything they need. They just need their quarterback to show up and outdo a Patrick Mahomes. They need their coach to show up and outdo Andy Reid. They need that defensive coach to outdo Spagnuolo. And if you do that, I saw Paris's face. It's tough. It's definitely tough. But if you can game plan for 3rd and 4th downs, because you know the Spags blitz is coming. You know it's coming. If you can game plan for that, I believe the Eagles have this. They better not go up 10 points and give it away like they did the last Super Bowl. If you're going to go up, you better keep it down. You better keep them down, because they can keep punching. Don't let them come out halftime and punch you back. You better keep your freaking foot on their necks and kill them. So I got the Eagles in this Super Bowl.
Man, sometimes when Arthur talks, it just makes you want to run through bricks, right? Just, put your helmet on and run straight into it. Give yourself a concussion.
All I got to say is, one, Spagnuolo is blitzing, but he's done that all year, and no team has been able to game plan against that. Even when they know it's coming, it works every time. And you think Jalen Hurts can throw for 300 yards again? When has he done that ever since then? The dude does not throw for 300 yards.
He ain't got no choice but to now. He ain't got no choice but to now. Hey, give the ball to Saquon Barkley if you want to. Chris Jones.
I believe Saquon can run for 300 before Hurts throws for 300.
Oh, okay. All right. This is getting hot in here. Let's cool it down here, fellas. All right. Listen, both fantastic takes, both fantastic performances tonight. But there can only be one winner, and you're looking at him. This episode of the 8 o'clock spot belongs to And for the first time in his 8 o'clock spot career, Paris Brown comes away with the win. As the music is queued up and delayed, as it always is, Paris Brown comes away with a W.
I am officially better than Josh Allen now. Yeah, get this man out of here.
Paris, you're officially better than Josh Allen at this point in your career. Your first 8 o'clock spot championship, I believe. How close does that put you to me? Because it's got to be pretty close, I think, right? No? So 20 points for Paris. So he's 13 points behind me now. So he's getting there. You're getting there, bud. So any words, any thoughts on your victory tonight?
I mean, like I said before the show, I felt like the Bills, the Bills went 4 years in a row without winning it. Then Josh Allen takes over. He still can't win it. That's how I felt. I get here all the time and lose. But, I finally did it. I'm better than Josh Allen. And listen, if I can do it, that means if I'm winning, that means the Pacers are winning this year. Pacers going all the way.
Listen, Arthur's had his fair share of championships this year, right? Ohio State won the national championship. He's on top of the 8OS leaderboard even now. Right. It just never ends. By the way, I will say, I think the last time I was a contestant with Arthur on the show, he beat me for the first time. So listen, he's had a lot of dubs recently. We got to humble this dude before it goes to his head. You can see it. His head's getting bigger. You see that? The hairline's receding a little bit. It's just growing a little bit too much. Sorry, that was personal. I shouldn't have said that.
Listen, for some reason, he picks all the dominant teams, man. Ohio State, specifically this year, nobody was beating that team. Like, once they got to the playoffs, I was like, man, this team is winning it. But when I saw them dominate Tennessee, I was like, yeah, this team's got it. This team's got it.
It was quite the showing from them. All right, Arthur, any last words before we say goodbye to the people? Do you feel like you got robbed tonight, just like the Buffalo Bills did?
Oh, no, man. Hey, man, look, you got to play against your opponent. You can't play against the ref. I can't play against you, right? I can't play against you. I got to play against – well, what was that? What was that quote that somebody just said? He said, don't blame others for your shortcomings. I think that was Bryson Carter.
That was Bryson Carter.
You know what Bryson Carter, wasn't it? Yeah,
there it is, right here.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so don't blame someone else for your shortcomings. You're right. I got to blame myself. So now I got to go back to the drawing board, you know what I'm saying? Like, see what the game plan is for next week and, win that one.
You get so many opportunities, you got to win one of them,
Yep.
Yeah. He's going to listen, Paris, he's going to be seeing you in his dreams. He's going to have a whole whiteboard, whole cork board of, all right, here's Paris's weak spot. He's coming after you next week, dude. He's like Jordan. He took it personally.
Good. He could be in my shoes for once. All the time I had to draw up against this man, draw it up, erase it, Oh,
man, it's too good. All right. But thank you for joining us. This is the 8 o'clock spot on the GRYD Network, exclusively on the GRYD Network. Our champion tonight, Paris Brown, with Arthur Hurst as our runner-up. Again, if you're not here every week, you're missing out. Every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, we're shooting on a Wednesday tonight, but every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, we'll be here for the greatest sports game show in the history of sports game shows. I'm Mike Guido, your host. It has been a pleasure. We'll see you then. We'll see you next time.